It's not always about the money. Hey guys, it's Brad from probatehouseguy.com. So I'm a real estate investor and I specialize in probate and inheritance properties. That's kind of my niche I focus on. But I've done all the deals, all the things over my years of buying and selling real estate, doing these deals and buying rental properties and flips, and even I've done some land development stuff. I've done it all, right? But I focus in probate and inheritance. That's my niche. And today I want to talk about something that is a key to my success in buying deals at getting good deals. So many people that, especially a lot of real estate agents I talk to, are like, how did you buy that property for such a good deal? Like, how are you able to buy it for that deal? That's crazy. And this is a paradigm shift and a thought process, is that it's not always about the money. And ironically, a lot of real estate agents have this problem where they think that all the seller cares about is the money. And are there sellers that only care about the money? Absolutely. But the reality is not everyone cares about the money. There are other circumstances and other reasons why someone might be selling a piece of real estate, and it's not about the money, especially in probate and inheritance deals, because a lot of times we're talking about family drama. We're talking about we deal with out-of-state heirs. They just don't even want to mess with it. They don't want to drive here or drive wherever the property is and mess with it. They'd rather just sell it and be done with it. They've inherited this. A lot of them see these properties as a burden, not as a gift from their family. So now they're having to, it's another thing they have to deal with in their already busy life, right? So the reality is a lot of them don't necessarily care about the money. They just want the house sold. Do they want to make some decent money on it? Yeah, but they really want their problem to go. And if you can get good at solving the problem, first of all, before you can solve the problem, you need to get very, very, very good at identifying the problem. And if you can identify the problem, you can be better at solving the problem. I'm going to make a reference here that some of you probably can't relate to, but I used to own a turf care business where I sprayed lawns, right? I treated lawns, fertilized, weed control lawns, and I got licensed in that, and I had to study about all the things. And the number one thing that they talk about is you've got to be able to identify the weed before you are able to treat the weed, because sometimes you might treat a weed, and if you can't identify it, the weed killer that you're spraying that weed with might not even be for that specific weed, and it might not kill that weed. So you need to be able to identify the plant or the weed in order to effectively treat it. The same goes with problem solving in real estate. You've got to be good at identifying the problem, the real problem, the root problem, as to what's really bothering this seller about this property, and you need to get really good at solving that problem. So once you've identified the problem, now you got to solve it. And how do you solve it? Well, you solve it by becoming a deal engineer, by having a bunch of tools in your toolbox and looking at that deal and that problem and being able to solve that problem with one of the tools in your toolbox. And you get good at that through experience, and you get good at that through education, educating yourself on all these different strategies. You also get good at that by not only, maybe you don't have the experience, but you know someone who has the experience in that field, and together the two of you can solve that seller's problem and make that deal happen. So for example, if you've got a probate inheritance deal and you've never done probate inheritance deals before, or you got a complicated probate inheritance that you're in over your head and you don't know how to solve this, reach out to me. I can help you solve it. I've been down that road. You name it, I've probably experienced it in the world of probate inheritance. I've dealt with some crazy situations, right? And we've always been able to solve them. Identify the problem, solve the problem. If you can solve the problem, more than likely you're going to be able to buy that property at a bigger discount and at a better deal than another guy that maybe can't necessarily solve the problem. I can't tell you how many times we've gone to a deal, we've looked at a deal, and the seller's gotten multiple offers from multiple people, and investors have come in and made them offers and made them higher offers than what we've offered the seller. But the reality is the seller ultimately sold the property to us because we listened to them and we identified their problem, and we solved their specific problem, and we wowed them with just the entire experience. We wowed them with the interactions and the relationship. We went above and beyond. We were normal people. We treated people like human beings, and we created win-win scenarios for everyone involved in the transaction. It wasn't a one-sided transaction. It was a win-win for everybody. And even though they probably made a little bit less money than the other guy that they would have gone through, they sold us the property because they knew that we would get it done. And they knew that we listened to them and we would solve their problem and we would get the deal to the finish line. And they had faith in us that we would do that. And that's what we strive to do at my company. So if you're doing really any deal for that matter, not necessarily probate and inheritance, but any deal for that matter, whether you're a real estate agent or an investor, just understand that it's not always about the money. There are other factors out there that are a motivating factor why a seller might want to sell a property, and they might not just care about the money, right? And I think part of the caring about the money to somewhat of a real estate agent's perspective is, well, the more I sell this property for, the higher my commission is. And if you're trying to get into the world of investment real estate and you're a real estate agent, you need to forget about your commission. Stop thinking like an agent and think like an investor. They're completely different mindsets, completely different thought processes. And until you can figure that out and you always think like an agent, you're missing the boat. You're missing the big picture here. And I'm an agent myself, but I was an investor first and became an agent later. I got my license later. So I kind of have a different perspective on it, but I can't tell you how many times I've worked with agents that just sort of can't wrap their minds around because their brain is programmed to be an agent and not to be a buyer. And if you want to become a buyer, you got to think like a buyer, not think like an agent. So stop thinking about the dollar amount. Stop thinking about the commission. I don't even take a commission. When I buy or sell a property, I don't even take a commission personally. Could I do it? Yeah, I could, but I don't. So for example, I've had lots of real estate agents send me leads and deals, and they'll say, hey, I got this property, blah, blah, blah. Can you buy it? Absolutely. And I say, look, I'm not going to take a commission on this because I'm buying it. And I say, you work it out with a seller, whether you charge the seller just 3% or you take the full 6% or whatever. I don't really care what you charge the seller. If you bring me the deal, I'm going to buy it from you, and I will pay you a commission on the deal, right? So I typically pay a referral commission. So sometimes every deal is different. We figure out the percentages. Sometimes I'll pay a referral commission. Sometimes I'll give them the listing on the backside. It's just, I'll figure it out, right? I want to make sure you get paid and you make money in the transaction as an agent, and I'm going to get paid too, but I don't take a commission because even though I'm an agent, I'm not taking a commission on the deal. So because I'm buying it, I'm flipping it. It'd be like taking money from one pocket and moving into my other pocket. It doesn't, from an accounting standpoint, it's a moot point, right? Focus on solving the problems. Focus on understanding that it's not always about the money, and you will be way more successful in this business. So thanks again for checking out this video. I'm Brad from probatehouseguy.com. So go to probatehouseguy.com. If you want to get in touch with me, you want to talk about a deal, you want to learn more, I'd be happy to talk to you. probatehouseguy.com. You can click the link below in the description. And you can fill out the contact form on the website, or you can pick up the phone and call the phone number. You'll probably get Missy on my team, and then she'll just relay the message to me, and I'll call you back. I might even see the message come in on there, and I'll call you back right away. It just depends on what I'm doing at that moment in time. So thanks for checking out this video. Have a great day. Bye-bye.